So welcome back to the channel. If you've been following the channel, you've seen in the previous episodes that we've been making great progress with Jack's XK race car. We've got a couple of upgrades ready for Brands Hatch, which is this weekend, so we're going to fit that in this episode, and we're also going to talk about the modifications that we've been developing that we'll have ready for the next round. So Castle Combe was the first race weekend that we used the Nankang AL1. We had a pretty hot weekend and we tested on the Friday on a track day, and we were actually struggling to get the AL1 into their temperature window. They run a lot hotter than where we were with the Toyos, so we dropped the pressures for the Saturday and it was better, and then typically Sunday was wet, so we didn't get exactly what we wanted. So we've looked over the tyre data and the temperature probe, so we've been probing inner, centre and outer, and we know that we need to come up on pressures, so we're going to start lower to try and generate more heat. So that's what we're going to try and do at Brands. We're going to make some setup changes to account for that as well. So the first upgrade for Brands Hatch is the front springs. This is a completely new damper setup on the X100. We've done road going kits, but this is the first one we've raced. The car's a lot lighter than previous cars we've raced, so we're a little bit off with the front spring rate. We've had a couple of options and it's getting better each time, so we've got another option for this weekend. So I'm going to remove the front dampers, we're going to change the springs and refit those now. So we've got the damper removed now. We're going to strip down the top mount, swap out the springs, and then while these are off, we'll probably just give them a bit of a clean up and a check over, make sure all the adjusters are free. We've got freeway adjustment on the Avos, so we've got rebound on the top, and we've got high and low speed bump on the actual canister, which is in the engine bay. So yeah, we'll swap these out now, get them back on the car. We've already loosened off all the lower plates, and then once we've got this set to ride height, we'll put it on the scales and adjust it afterwards with the wheel alignment. So we just thought we'd talk a little bit about the setup on the bench, because as you can see, this was where the spring was located on the car at ride height, and most people watching the video are probably wondering why we've got so much spring drop. We don't allow the spring to drop that much in the cars. What we actually do is we use droop restrictors. We haven't built droop restrictors into dampers, we're using a mechanical strap on the roll bar. So when we actually get the desired amount of droop, it will still keep the compression on the spring because it's holding on the roll bar. So this will never actually happen when it's fitted in the car. When we release it out of the car, the damper goes to full extension, hence why we're getting this amount of spring drop. So as you can also see here, we're running caster shims on the upper wishbone. The class that we're in means we have to use the original arm. So we've got a polyurethane upper arm, and then we've got a aluminium shim. So we just reduced the shim size on one side to give us a little bit more caster, and hopefully that will help with steering response a little bit. So we use the Tarox R380 with Jack's race car. We've got the 362mm F2000 disc. This is a caliper that we used and tested with my car and we won a championship, so we've had really great results with this. With Jack's car, we're having a little bit of an issue. Whether it's his driving style that seems to emphasise it more, I don't know, but he's suffering with pad knockoff. So what we're going to do is we're going to look to see if we can offer some upgrades on the spring carrier. We're also going to fit anti-knockback springs onto the back of the pistons. So we're going to have to take the calipers off, pop the pistons out, add the spring behind, and hopefully this will just keep a little bit of pressure on the actual pad itself to avoid knockoff. So when we talk about knockoff, essentially when he comes to certain corners he's getting more pedal travel than he will when there's pressure in the system. So what normally happens is when you hit curbs, etc., the pad's knocked back on the piston, so that has to travel further each time, which is why you get a longer pedal. So we're just trying to improve that to make it easier from a driver's perspective.
Howdy folks, we're at Croft.
Yes,
Look at this, mate.
Yeah, about 5 minutes behind schedule.
We just arrived at Croft, a little behind. Everything looks good and in place. Jack's tinkering on the radiator. There'll be no overheating here.
Right, so we're just about to go out for qualifying at Croft. We've only got one qualifier today, and typically the heavens have opened, so we haven't gone full wet setup. We've just made a couple of adjustments to tyre pressures and dampers, just warming all three cars up now. Fingers crossed Jack can get a good lapping, because we really need it here, to be honest. We want to keep the results coming in, so I'll update after qualifying anyway.
If I get cold, I'm gonna run around naked. Just thinking I'm gonna have to be a bit steady, get some heat into the tyres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be greasy, mate, isn't it?
It's gonna be very greasy out there. And just try and get a clear lap, I think.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it was just certain bits of that was just greasy on that first corner.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh fuck!
Some of it was going like some real long sideways. I think, okay,
we
I'm
go.
now losing time, so I'm going sideways. But it was like full.
This looks cool as well, especially out that last corner.
All right, well, we've been offered a sponsorship by Monster, but we've had to turn it down because we're really looking for Red Bull. If you don't have wings, you just can't fly unless you're in a Jaguar.
Take care.
So after good qualifier yesterday, Jack's on pole. It's not raining at the moment, but it looks like it might. So we've gone out with a dry setup. Fingers crossed he can stay there.
Not so much what we're thinking, it's about what we know.
What do we know?
Well, I know the cars are nice and clean, they're looking good, and Jack's on pole. What's more to know?
Yeah, just enjoy it.
Yeah, I will. I'm in the mood.
Good.
Definitely in the mood.
Mate, just honestly, with regards to like revving it, it will go right. Go round to you when you find the limiter, and then you'll. Mate, it's right round.
Down here?
Yeah. Yeah, like you do have to really wring its neck.
I'm going to ring its neck.
You'll feel it. It's got a soft limiter, so it'll bounce off of it. And once you've hit that, you'll kind of know where you need to rev to, and just take it up there every time, every gear. So at least third gear, maybe fourth, I think you'll have an edge with the acceleration, but we haven't got the power that the XJS has at the moment. So tyres are a little bit up from where you had them yesterday. I reckon it's not going to be until lap 3 that they're properly on, being honest, but I think then you'll have tyres the whole race.
Yeah.
I think the only place the XJS is going to have the edge is this main straight, maybe across the back, but then again, if you can get through the chicane sensibly, I would sacrifice entry to try and get exit personally. But he's so much faster across the back, but they just pull past him on the straight. Last lap, what's he? Looks like he's in second. Guy's just had us, and Jack was right behind him, so I think he's picked second, which is absolutely brilliant. Don't think he's going to be close enough to Phil Pot though, coming round to third. Yeah!
How's that, mate?
That was good. That was fucking good.
P2 overall.
And 1:35 quickest lap time, so. Gonna have some lunch now.
P2 overall.
Yeah, P2 overall, first in class. So that means you'll start second from the race, and both of the cars that were obviously in front and behind a different class anyway. And I'm not sure if I don't think it makes any difference on points with Guy though, because Guy's in a different class anyway. But yeah, no, exactly what we wanted. Just need a bit more power.
Which was what we could have wished for.
What do you think of that race then, Sean?
Great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought it was Jack.
where?
Loads of smoke, yellow.
Well, we got the result we needed, yeah?
Yeah.
Proper.
Pressure in him.
Yeah.
He missed the gear down there. That's what let Guy pass.
Oh, right.
Well, that's what I assumed he did, because he revved and then revved again and then gave it a gear.
Oh, right.
And
He'd done a lovely move, Jack did, down in straight up the inside of.
What did you break? Gear shifter. Man, I couldn't get into any gears. Any like top gears like that. That's They're so fast on the fucking straight there.
yeah, I know, they just pull past.
Thank you.
Well, we got the issue he was having finding gears is because the bloody riv nuts have pulled straight through the tunnel. So I think he was struggling to get the top gears, if that makes sense. Anything back was easy, but as soon as you go forward, it lifts. So yeah, a little bit frustrating, but actually, considering, bloody good result. So gonna whip this off and repair it for race 2. They've just called us for race 2. It's a fair bit later than we originally expected, but the temps are up. So I made a couple of tyre changes, pressure-wise on all 3 cars, and we fixed the gear linkage as well. So fingers crossed that'll be the end of that issue.
What is this? I don't care if that gets burnt. I just look like a twat.
Bosh.
And down towards Clairvaux then, for the very first time in this 15-minute race.
Thinking we need more power, mate. Currently. No, I hope he gets past Harper. But we actually need Harper to beat Guy for points, but I think Harper's starting to drop back off the back of Guy, so I think there's more chance of Jack getting in front of him now. It's alright, wasn't it?
It was alright.
No, it was good. It's a shame he didn't get on the podium, but at the same time, he's first in class, that's all that matters. But Guy was in front of Harper, which points-wise doesn't take any out of Guy. So I think going into the next round, Jack's still 6 points clear. But yeah, we just got to keep the results. Okay. Yeah, no, really good result. Jack finished 4th, which was first in class. Unfortunately, Andrew didn't get in front of Guy. So what that means is Jack's the same distance leading currently as he did coming into the round. So it's 6 points between him and Guy. But Guy won his class in both races, and so did Jack. So we've just got to keep the results coming in, really. But it's going to be the same amount of distance going into the next round. So it was just what we need to do, really.